Hey, I'm back, John Alite again, and we're going to talk about today specifically about the shooter. And I'm going to talk about first. I'm going to talk about the shooting that just happened in Mar-a-Lago at the golf course. So the problem is, what people don't know, and obviously this was my business at one time, so I understand the planning prior to trying to do a shooting. And this guy he's got a pickup truck. Just what people don't know, on the back of his pickup truck is Biden Harris. So he was also involved, and he went to Ukraine, and there was a woman that was a nurse that called in and complained when he was in Ukraine that there's something wrong with this guy. Now, as someone that's going to try to kill somebody, and he's a small-time construction worker with no money, but yet he's traveling a lot. So where's he getting his funding to fly to Hawaii, fly to Ukraine, fly back to the United States, fly to Florida? He's from North Carolina. He's all over the map. And that takes a lot of money. It's not just the flying that takes money, the food, the hotels, the gas, renting cars. How's he moving around weapons? And, I'm analyzing when you see the Secret Service go up and pat themselves on the back and talk about what a great job they did. No, they didn't. That's a lie. It was another screw up that this guy was sleeping in the woods of around the fifth hole Trump was heading towards. So there's paparazzi that they know of that go into those areas. And what you do is you set up a perimeter. But how did this guy know to be there that day and sleep in the woods for 12 hours? He was there 12 hours in an area of the golf course with a rifle sticking out of a fence that was about 300 yards away. Now, if you're a decent shot, that's not the hardest shot in the world. Now, when I'm in, and I was just with a friend of mine, Ricky, who was a sniper training in Kosovo. He trains as a sniper. My friend, Brian Bashel, that I've done shows with, an ex-Marine, his buddy, JD. These guys are big-time shooters. JD, also a sniper. And when you get experts like these guys, they can tell you a lot better than I can. But when you have a guy laying there for 12 hours, who's giving him the information? What happens if Trump doesn't go there for 2 more weeks? That's not what's happening. And he has connections to BlackRock. And BlackRock, and I said it on an earlier show, you have a lot of ex-military intelligence people that work there. You have ex-CIA guys. And it's a simple thing. And I'm not saying I know who did it, but somebody tipped this guy. Somebody told this shooter that Trump is going to be golfing today. Now, he didn't know himself he was golfing until the night before. So somebody within the line of people that knew where Trump was going, and they have a terminology for when it's not on his schedule, which is bullshit. And the CIA used that up when they were up on the podium and tapping on each other's back on what a great job. And President Trump was very humble about it. And he thanked them for helping him, and he didn't blast them. Actually, Sean Hannity blasted them. There was a couple of different people that blasted him. Newsmax blasted him. There was somebody, I believe it was CNBC. There was another journalist that actually said the same thing. What are they tapping themselves on the back for? This is, 101 of security. You go out to the field early in the morning before he goes, and you set up a perimeter. You call the local police and you tell them that he's going to be golfing today, so they know. They set up an outside perimeter. Then the CIA sets up an outside perimeter. They do a sweep, and they look for weapons. They look for people. They look for cars that are in the distance. Now, within that perimeter, that shooting perimeter. So wherever that perimeter is for the CIA, wherever it starts at, I would assume it starts at 500 yards. And just like the last shooter, you go from high ground to low ground. Now, why isn't this being done first? Why is it after you're reacting after the act? You're not acting prior to the act. He shouldn't get that close to be prior to the act. My concern is, and I'm going to say it on the air so it never happens, what happens if Iran sends a team of 5 guys? Not 1, 5. Are they prepared for that? Because they don't seem to be prepared for these 2 dummies, right? Who are definitely getting help. And to me, I don't believe the first dummy was acting alone. And I don't know why they cremated that body. And for people that don't know what 302s are, there's hundreds of them. That means the FBI sat down and talk to witnesses and what they've seen, and they won't turn it over to Congress. Why not? And people say, well, what are you thinking? Well, I'm thinking law enforcement and our government is helping out in some way, whether it's one rogue or two rogue or 10 rogue, besides the rhetoric that's enticing these people to take shots at Trump, at President Trump. There's something else going on here. Because, again, if I got up today and I did for what I did for a living, you usually do your homework for whether it's a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and you get a schedule down. And if you don't have his schedule, how are you planning anything? How do you know that he wasn't going to be somewhere else? You're not even in the state. Where is he getting the information to know he's going to be at that golf course? Now, he goes to that golf course a lot. So was he going to sleep there every other week until he finds him? No, the guy got the intelligence from an inside source. And that's the investigation you need to know. Same with the other guy that was up on the roof. Why was he cremated so fast? I was told by certain people that I know outside this country was equivalent to our CIA. That wasn't a sniper shot that killed him. It was an up-close shot. Now, you could say that's conspiracy theory. You could say that's not true. You could say that's a lie. Then why would you cremate a body that quickly? And they can't say, well, the family wanted to cremate. No. It's like anything else. They confiscate your car. It's an evidence. That body's part of evidence of trying to assassinate a president. You imagine we had presidents like John F.K. and we had his brother killed, RFK. And it's not a conspiracy theory when RFK comes out and says, well, CIA did it. And it's not a conspiracy theory when RFK can't get Secret Service protection when a guy came to his house twice trying to kill him with weapons. It's not a conspiracy theory when they will not release the 302s to Congress. It's not a conspiracy theory, like I said, when they shuffle the body away and cremate him in 10 days' time without further investigation to see what happened. It's not a conspiracy theory when a guy's sitting and sleeping in a golf course for 12 hours and would never got caught, actually. He would have got away if it wasn't for a citizen that was filming his car, and he followed him and his license plate and gave it to law enforcement. This is not crackerjack law enforcement. These guys, it was one agent, I believe it was a woman actually, had spotted the gun. Luckily, she was on her job. But it's luck. What happens if she doesn't spot that pointing at him? And then you have a dead president. And I think this is what they want. They're complicit with it. This government, this media is complicit and praying and hoping in some way they can get rid of this guy. People say, oh, you're crazy, you're a conspiracy, you're just saying that. No, I'm not. Not when the rhetoric is coming from the media and the left, enticing this. They keep enticing how much they hate him, how much, he's Hitler. Well, they're Hitler. He never forced vaccines on anybody. He just tried to save people's lives and get it developed and cut through the red tape and gave everyone a choice. Do you want to take that vaccine or not? It's your choice. It's your body. He's the one that said that. It's your choice. He didn't lock up anybody. He didn't make anybody lose their jobs, their livelihood, their family. He didn't do that. He didn't pressure them. He didn't bribe them. He didn't threaten anybody. There's the difference when you're talking about Hitler with democracy. He's fighting for democracy. The reason why we have the Second Amendment, for the people who don't know, is to protect us from a rogue government so they can't take us over. And when they talk about guns, I'm going to give the stats one more time because I say it almost every show when I do talks about violence. About 25,000 a year die from gun violence. Legal guns, it's only about 1 to 2% are used by legal guns. The rest are illegal guns from places like an open border that Kamala Harris allows. First. Second, they keep talking about gun violence, but they send billions of dollars to every other country instead of placing law enforcement in the schools around every school so these school shootings will stop. They can stop it. They don't want to stop it. They want excuses to try to take your guns. They're trying to manipulate the public into believing that. But out of those 2%, 1-2% legal guns, 10,000 of them, gun violence is suicide. They kill themselves. The other, like 12 to 15,000, are guns used in a commission of crimes, right? Or the police killing somebody that was trying to hurt somebody. And that doesn't even account for how many citizens own their own guns, legal guns, that are killing people that are trying to rob them or their houses or their loved ones. Now, you're talking about, it is a big number, but it's nowhere the number of opioid deaths and fentanyl deaths of children like my daughter that lost her life because Kamala Harris left that border open. And when you have Lincoln Riley and you have them being killed and a little 12-year-old girl being raped and killed by 2 illegal immigrants, let her say their names. She caused their death. Because if she didn't let them in this country illegally, unvetted, that little girl would be alive. She would never suffered the worst death of her life. Or the mother that was just recently killed. So when people talk about, well, Kamala Harris tries to dismiss it, no, you're responsible for hundreds of thousands of kids that are dying every year from fentanyl because you opened that effing border and you don't care about our American kids. You didn't care about my daughter. You don't lose a night's sleep, a wink of sleep, and you have the goal to talk about your daughter on TV. Oh, how proud you are of your daughter. Well, let your daughter go on the border. Let your daughter test the fentanyl. But you don't care because it didn't affect your daughter yet. And God willing, it won't affect your daughter. But it affects a lot of our daughters and our sons and our families. But you won't make a move for that. You'll continue your left-wing crazy agenda of trying to bring all these people in, and you won't protect our kids in schools. You won't put armed guards in every elementary school, every high school, and anywhere that you could fortify our schools so these gun shootings don't happen, these shootings at the schools don't happen. You won't do it because you don't want to do it because it's not good for you. That's not what you want to do. You're a left-wing person. You don't want to protect them. You will say we have no money, but you send it to all these countries, like I said. You'll protect their border. You'll send billions to Ukraine. You won't try to stop that war. But you'll send billions and trillions. You can't even find our government's missing $25 billion. You don't even know where it is. This is a complete joke. And this is the things that Elon Musk talked about. And by the way, he was a Democrat. And he believed in freedom of speech. They're all running away from you because you're not the Democratic Party anymore. You're a communist party that everybody's scared to use that word for some reason. And then you go after anybody that talks about you. You'll go after them. You'll find ways to go after them. This government needs to be revamped from the bottom to the top. I used to say that gangsters were bad. They were nowhere near. They're loyal to this country. I'd say 99% of them are loyal to this country. Our government workers, I'd say 90% are against this country. When Feinstein, I believe was her name, just passed away, and God rest her soul, she died with $100 million or so. Where are they getting this money? You make a couple $100,000 at best. Where are they getting this money? Pelosi's, where are they getting this money? The Clintons were broke. Where are they getting this money? Obama. The corruption, this is not difficult to understand. The corruption in our government is worse than third world countries now. You've abused the system. You stole our money. You leave the inner city with no money. And you keep promising reparations and any other bullshit you can sell them before an election and then slap them in the face again. Do you think everybody's going to fall for this anymore when you throw them out of their schools and you have illegals sleeping in their schools on their floor or in the airport and you're up in your mansion somewhere with your private security? You have private security, don't you? I think you try to sell this crap with your word salads of how hard you live. You grew up in Canada originally. You didn't grow up here. What are you talking about? You were Indian forever. Now you're trying to say you're black, but if you are black and you got a percentage of black, they tried that on the media, on the debate too. I says, are you black? Then why you screw over the black community so bad? I don't care what color your skin is. Your heart's not. I says, you don't feel that you're anything black in your heart. You just think you're better than everybody in your heart. You think you're smarter. You think you can weasel your way around. You think you can lie. You think you don't have to answer questions to the American people. You think you can place yourself because you had some, whatever you did to get to a position where they threw out the president and they put you in. This is not America. This is not democracy. This is not, we didn't vote for you. Nobody voted for you. Couldn't get 1% vote. The problem now is who's instigating the shooting and the attempts of killing the president. And will it happen again? Hell yeah. When you got a Hillary Clinton getting up there, and it's amazing how she gets up there knowing what she did in Benghazi and had the ambassador torn apart because she went back to bed and she wanted to erase all her emails, but she didn't want to get caught out there. And I interviewed John Tigg, so I know the whole story. Then they blocked John Tigg off of social medias. But this is not communism, right? You shut down his freedom of speech because you can't talk against Hillary Clinton. You can't talk about her husband. You couldn't keep your husband home. That's why he was on Epstein Island. Maybe we should work on that instead of talking about Donald Trump all the time. He seems to be all right with his wife and family and kids. So you lost the election, Hillary, because you're the most hated personality in the United States. And I guess secondary personality that's hated, and then not from my word, it's from polls that went on, was you, Kamala. You were hated, everybody that voted, and I'm talking about the Democratic Party wrote that. They hated you. So how all of a sudden you went from being hated, just recently to now you're affordable force in an election that you haven't answered a question from? You can't. You're not intelligent enough to answer a question. You have no policies. There is no joy in America with you. You know what there's in America? Funerals. There's a lot of funerals because of you. Funerals because of the 13 fallen soldiers for the Afghanistan pullout. Funerals because of all the illegal immigrants killing and murdering and raping our kids, innocent children, taking over apartment buildings. Funerals because of fentanyl that killed my daughter and other people's kids and daughters, because you want an open border, because you're a leftist, fanatic, communist, Marxist that your father raised you as. And for the American people that don't know that, you need to do some homework and research before you understand what she's about. What Waltz is about is even worse. Well, just as bad. And when you look at them hiding what they've done to the president, people should ask, look what they've done to him. I never seen a human being this strong in my life. You could say what you want. You hate the guy. Like I always say, you don't have to like him. You don't have to marry him. You don't have to sleep with him. But you better hope he's our president or there's going to be a World War III. Me, I personally think he's one of the strongest human beings that we ever had out there. He's one of the greatest presidents out there because of his sacrifice for love for this country. No different than he is with RFK and RFK's love for this country. These are the people, and Vance, J.D. Vance, and as I get to know him more and listen to him speak, he's a hell of a speaker. He's a hero. He's another veteran, and they love this country. And yet, these people in the mainstream media are scared to ask simple questions. Ask Kamala Harris, like I said earlier, these simple questions. Do you believe in gas here in the United States and fracking? Do you believe in closing the border, putting the wall back up? Sign it. We want you to sign it right now in front of everybody in this country. You're going to say and do anything you can to try to get election. You've flip-flopped and lied 100 times over. You won't address one question. You won't do a live interview. You want to do interviews that are taped. You want to do it on people that you know at ABC that you're friends with and you grew up with, and they're going to splice it and cut it. You fought tooth and nail to know the questions and every other thing everybody blamed you about. Did you have the earplugs in or not? Well, why wouldn't we believe you did? Because you're not too intelligent. So you went on a debate, and like a child in grade school, all you did was go after Trump personally, but you didn't answer one question. That's the best part. You didn't answer one question. You just deflected and just kept attacking him personally. We don't need to know what you feel about him personally. We know what he did for 4 years. And we see what you've done for 4 years. You destroyed the country. And what I still want to know is, how did that man know to be at that golf course? Who was giving him that information? And that's what the FBI and CIA and everybody needs to answer to. How is anybody getting the information to lay on that president, not knowing his schedule? No different than I don't know his schedule, anybody else. Where would you get that kind of information? How would you know to bring a video of what you were doing? Who told you what hole to look for him at? How did you hide your car? Why is the government covering for you and saying they don't know who you like? Are you Democrat or Republican, when they know you're a Democrat and you've donated all kinds of money to the Democratic Party? When you have a bumper sticker on the back, when your emails are crazy and your text messages are crazy against Donald Trump. You're a fanatic and everybody knows it. Who's souping you up? Who's paying you? Who's training you? And who's training the guy that made that shot in Butler? Because somebody's training you guys. And you're both affiliated, supposedly with BlackRock. You want commercials with them. Is that coincidental? I don't think so. My opinion, again, is this is enticement by our government, a little help with our government, some connections from our government. And in my opinion, it's going to happen again. And my only concern is when a country sees this and wants to take a shot at them, and you have a terrorist group, and when they understand that if they have a team, 5 or 6 or 7 guys, he's going to have a serious problem with the security he has. That it's a very dangerous situation, and you guys are purposely making it a dangerous situation because you tried everything else to get rid of him. The Mueller investigation and on and on and on. He's had so many investigations of nonsense that it's insulting for anybody to buy anything different than to blame you people. From Comey and Ray and the rest of you that got your hand caught in a cookie jar 1,000 times now. God bless this country, because if we don't win this election, Trump does not win this election, this country's finished. When you place a puppet in there that has no knowledge, no strength, no ability to deal with foreign adversaries, we're going to have a World War III. And we're definitely not going to win it with this. There's nobody that respects you. Nobody respects Sleepy Joe. For years, I heard the media say how cognitive he was, how great he was, how sharp he was. And then all of a sudden, you all start falling apart. You joke, what happened to the 4 years of lies of saying Joe Biden was fine? No, that went out the window now. Now he's not fine again. Which one is it? Flip-floppers. This is what happens when you lie and you have a narrative that doesn't work and you're desperate and you try everything and see what sticks. They're destroying America, our ways, our country. And anybody that cares about their family and kids in the future. How do you stop it? It's sad to see what you've done to this country and what you're trying to do to this country. And it's not for the good of this country. It's good for your power, your pockets. You wouldn't come out this way so desperate. You wouldn't pay the media and control the media to this extent to go after Donald Trump. Nonstop. It's so sick. I've never seen anything in my lifetime as sick as this, what you've done to this man and his family. And unfortunately, there's not more Americans that are coming out and talking. There's a handful, but not enough. And you know that. That's why you just keep putting the pressure on. And he'll keep fighting all the way. 2024 election, God bless President Trump, his family, America. He's an American family first president. Nobody else but him. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and my TikTok. Thanks, everybody. Write in questions, anything you want to ask. I'll see you next week. And remember, first week, October, we'll be out protesting, and we'll have different groups that are going to attend that have been contacting me. Different religions, different countries, different nationalities, the police, different police from different organizations that will be there. We're going to protest, we're going to rally, we're going to show support for the next president of this country. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.